824, welcome back to BT on this Monday morning. Simply incredible that our next guest is sitting beside me on the BT couch. Jesse Van Dok is his name, electrocuted due to drug psychosis back in 2016. First off, welcome to you. Thanks for coming on to share your story. But take us back into the moment of what was going on in your life in September of 2016 that led to this incredible incident.
So yeah, I got into recovery. I was living on Salt Spring, and I was a very successful chef. I had a family, and I lost it all because of my addiction. I came over here and was clean for about 35 days. Came down to the east side with a friend of mine, and I ended up relapsing. I went into drugs. I went into psychosis after about 2 days of using everything, selling everything that I own. And in that psychosis, I ended up at the transfer station down in Chinatown, and I thought voices were telling me to go in there. So I climbed in. I got up in a big structure. Someone I assumed had called the cops, watching somebody scale that. And he came, he told me to get down, and when I jumped on a 230,000 volt transformer. In that, there was a giant explosion. It lit me on fire, and I climbed down. I ran over to the cop, and he put me out with a fire extinguisher. It was quite intense. I don't really remember this. I have amnesia because of the shock. The fire hall had a heck of a time trying to get in there, and when I came out, they're pouring water on me. I'm screaming at these guys. It was really intense. The ambulance finally came. I ran up to the door. I opened the door. I was like, "Can you please put me under?" I was in so much pain. The guy's like, "What's going on?" I said, "Look at me, man." Goes to the back of the ambulance, opens up, and they induced me into a coma. And I was in a VGH for 3 days in a coma. I did full life for 2.5 weeks, and then on the born ward for another month and a half.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible hearing this, and when we read about this story, this is a story of help and hope, and in this recovery, we want to show you some of the photos of the reality of what you live with now that you've recovered. And before we show these are quite intense, so just a warning if the little ones are watching, but this is what you live with, and there is a great deal of recognition to the burn fund of the support you've received. Once you go through this and you're in hospital, and yeah, you get a new lease on life, how did they help you turn this around, knowing that this would be your physical reality, but you could use this voice for good?
So the burn fund, they provide a lot of fundraising, right? So I had compression garments to help me with my burns, right? This is $600. I had to have 2 pairs because you lose a lot of weight sitting in your hospital bed, and that's $1,200 that I didn't have. Being a drug addict, I'm just off the streets. So these guys really helped with things like that. They do the Christmas sites at the Stanley Park. All the funds go into the burn fund and to VGH, where the burn ward is. They're doing the Hometown Heroes Lottery now, and all of that money gets put right back in there. So this is one of the reasons I'm doing it, is to be able to give back. There's such a great foundation. The tickets are available until July 11th, and it's just great to be able to provide for these guys, just like they did for me.
If somebody's watching this, hearing your story, and feel like they're mired in the trap of addiction and they don't know how to break out, there was another organization, intoaction.ca.
Yeah,
how did that help break the cycle?
So I'm in recovery right now. I started in Abbotsford in a faith-based ministry called Joshua House, and I'm now in a second stage where I'm able to go out and work. It gives you hope. There's so many amazing organizations on the mainland. Intoaction.ca. If you are struggling, you just go check it out. Make a phone call. There's help out there. There's hope out there, and there's people that can walk you through all sorts of different programs.
Well, we're going to put those resources on our Facebook page, burnfund.org being the big one, and intoaction.ca. Jesse, keep using your voice for good.
Thank you very much, Riaz.
I know you're fighting an important battle, and I think a lot of people watching this may benefit from your story, so appreciate it.
Have a great day.
We're going to take a break.